Hi everyone, it's Vicky from Minerva. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at sweater knit fabrics. So this is a Minerva Exclusive collection and we've just added a whole bunch of new prints to this gorgeous base cloth. So we've got some beautiful new designs and really I just wanted to introduce you to this gorgeous base cloth. I think it's perfect for this time of year. It's one of my favourites in the collection. I'm actually wearing it now. This is our Minerva Exclusive Patterns Savannah dress. It's perfect for this pattern. Yeah, and I'm just really excited by some of these gorgeous new prints we've got. So let's take a look at the fabric. So this first design is it's called Leafy Eclipse, and it's a really lovely like charcoal grey and creamy sort of colour in this beautiful floral print design. Isn't that lovely? Now, sweater knit fabrics, if you've not come across them before, sweater knit is a loosely knitted fabric and it gives the feel of a hand knitted fabric or a hand knitted garment once it's made up. Of course it's not hand knitted, nothing like, it's made on a machine, but because you can really see those knit stitches with it being a loose knit fabric, it just gives that feel of a hand knitted type fabric. Now it's stretchy, it's soft, but it still has a good amount of drape, even though it's, you know, a relatively thick fabric. Like you can see when I hold that up there, you can see just still how much it drapes, which is quite a unique and lovely characteristic about this sort of fabric. You know, you don't often find knit fabric that's quite thick like this one that has quite so much drape. And that is down really to the knit construction. Because it's a looser weave, it allows for that drape in the fabric. Now this particular, our Minerva Exclusive fabric is made from, so it's 96% polyester and 4% elastane, and that gives it 70% stretch across the width from selvage to selvage, and it gives it 20% stretch down the length of the fabric. So there's only a little bit of stretch down the length, but lots of stretch across the width. And for a sweater knit fabric, it does have good recovery. You can see that it pings back into shape there, and that's because of the elastane content in there. It's really lovely and soft is this fabric. It's really nice to touch, and with it being a synthetic fibre, you know, it's not going to crease in your day-to-day wardrobe. You know, I understand, you know, some people don't want to wear polyester and that's absolutely fine, but if you're somebody that, you know, likes the easy care nature of it, then this could be a lovely fabric. If you prefer natural fibres, you know, we have lots of those in the Minerva Exclusive collection as well, which we focus on in other videos. So I think this fabric is the perfect transitional sort of fabric, you know, to wear when you need extra layers, but you don't need, you know, you don't want to be too warm either, or, you know, to just wear it to layer up, you know, when it is freezing cold outside, which, you know, it pretty much has been recently here in the UK. It's ideal for sewing tops, sweaters, dresses, cardigans, skirts, lots of things you can make with this fabric, but they're all going to have that cosy kind of feel to them. So this fabric it's 210 GSM per square metre, so grams per square metre, and that is classed as a medium weight fabric. So even though it's quite, you know, it's quite thick, quite cosy, it's not super heavy either. And the fabric is definitely opaque, you know, you can't see through it, so you're certainly not going to need to line it. And in terms of sewing this needle, we'd recommend a ballpoint needle for best results. We always recommend with our fabrics to you know, wash them on a low heat, so like a 30-degree wash, and air dry them flat. But I must admit, with mine, it gets put in the 40-degree wash and on a tumble dry, and it's absolutely fine. But, you know, we recommend to take as much care as possible if you want, you know, you want the fabrics to last as long as possible. But practicality wise, you know, it is absolutely fine in a 40-degree wash and a tumble dry as well. So we've got, I think it's 10 fab prints I've got to share with you today, which are all brand new prints on this base cloth, but we actually have lots more on the website as well, so please do check those out. And then I've also got a whole bunch of patterns to share with you to give you lots of ideas on what you can make with this fabric as well. So first up, we've got a Leafy Eclipse, a gorgeous leafy floral design in a very monochrome colour palette. I think that's absolutely lovely, and I'm very tempted to make a Savannah dress in that one, although I'm very tempted by all of them, if I'm honest, to make some more Savannah dresses. Next up we have, now this is one of our most popular prints in the Minerva Exclusive collection. It's called Painter's Patchwork. So we thought it would be a really lovely one to put on the sweater knit. Now, one thing to mention about the sweater knit fabric is it has like a variegated thread running throughout it. And what that means is when you look at a print on the fabric, it has this like a soft hazy kind of finish to it, which, you know, really kind of lends itself to that hand knitted sweater, loose knit kind of feel. And what it does to a very bright print like the Painter's Patchwork is it just softens the print a little bit, and you get this extra kind of added dimension from that variegated thread in the fabric. So, I mean, as you can see, there's still lots of colour in this one, but it's just a little bit softer. And yeah, I think it really kind of suits those cosy autumn wintry makes, having that soft kind of feel to it. Next up, this print is called Glorious Garnish. Really, really gorgeous design. Whoops. Much smaller scale print, this one. But it's like an abstract sort of floral or little splodges. Beautiful colours in there. We've got chartreuse and olive greens, mint greens, peach silvers on a charcoal grey background. Really, really lovely. I think a gorgeous one if you prefer a smaller scale, slightly more understated print, but it's still very, very special. The next design we've got is Psychedelic Poses, and I love this one. I mean, I love a floral print, I love colour, and I think this one is a beautiful design. Lots of colour in there, but again, you know, the sweater knit base cloth just softens it a little bit, so it's not super bright. But all those beautiful plums and purples, reds, royal blue even in there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Another one that I think I'm very tempted to make a savannah dress in. The next design we've got, this is a butterfly print. This one is called Fluttering Flight. It's a tealy, petrol-y, bluey sort of colour. And isn't that lovely? So it's another one that is quite, I guess, pared back and toned down from a colour point of view, but the design is so pretty and detailed that, you know, the specialness in this fabric, I guess, is that gorgeous colour and that beautiful design, which all these fluttering butterflies, you know, it creates a lot of movement in the print. Really, really special. Yeah, I think that would, for me, that would make a great, you know, savannah dress to wear every day to work. And yeah, I think it's a very wearable print, that one. Next up we have Falling Blossom. So this is another of our really popular designs in the collection, and we knew instantly we wanted to print this on sweater knit, and I'm so glad we did because I think it's beautiful. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So this is one of those designs that some people see like abstract flowers in there, some people see what looks like ink droplets on water, like a, you know, like an oil sort of covering. But either way, it's absolutely beautiful. I love the colour in the background. It's like a sagey, Air Force bluey kind of colour. Quite an unusual colour, really. But I think it's a very sophisticated print, that one. It's beautiful. Next up we've got Sago Sprouts, and this is a really fun leafy design in this gorgeous olivey green colourway. Really, really gorgeous design. A little bit larger scale print, this one, but I think because of the pared back colour palette, it's still very, very wearable. I think the iris cardigan in something like this would be fabulous because it would really show off the print. Yeah, really, a really lovely soft green colour, that one as well. It's very pretty. Next up we've got Archway Array. This is another of my favourite designs. And look at this one. It's a very kind of graphic, geometric design with these like stamped, almost like archway kind of shapes. It's got a very dark grey background with this like cayenne pepper, reddy brown colour and a little bit of cream in there. Really lovely. Yeah, I think a cardigan or a dress in that would just be gorgeous. Next up is another of my favourite designs. You can tell who chooses the prints for this collection, can't you? So this one is Nebulous Night, and I love this design. I love it on all the base cloths we've done it on so far, and I absolutely wanted to do it on the sweater knit. Isn't that gorgeous. I think it looks like a galaxy, or you know, the night sky, or deep in the ocean. It's a magical kind of print, that one. I think it's gorgeous. Yeah, I love the colours in it too. Absolutely gorgeous. And then lastly, we've got this one on the mannequin. So this one is called Petal Pulse, and it's an abstract take on a floral, this one, a very stylised floral with a navy blue background. And I think it's the colours in this that are super special. Isn't that lovely? So we've got mustard golds, burnt oranges, a sea green colour, lots of pinks and peaches in there. Very unusual colour palette, but it works so well against that navy background. And again, another one that's kind of softened the colours with it being printed on the sweat in it. Just absolutely gorgeous, that one. So that's all the fabric designs I had to share with you today. Now, like I said earlier, we do have lots more designs on our website, so if those aren't for you, you know, please do take a look at the site, because we've loads and loads for you to choose from on this base cloth now. But next up, let's have a look at some of the patterns I've picked out that I think would be amazing for this fabric. There's lots you can make, but I do think it's, you know, with it being a sweat knit fabric, like we talk about in the Minerva fabric guide, it does suit certain styles of clothes. Some often more soft, unstructured kind of styles, obviously patterns that require a knit fabric. Yeah, so hopefully these patterns that I've picked out will give you, you know, lots of inspiration with these particular patterns, but they'll also hopefully guide you on other pattern styles and what to look for in the pattern. So first up, we've got, and we'll insert pictures of these as we go, so we've got Butterick 6858, and this is a fabulous, well, you've got lots of different views in this pattern. You've actually got 5 different options included. So you've got a dress, a top, well, 2 different tops, a skirt and trousers. And I actually think all of those pieces would work really well. I must admit, I chose it for the dress and the top predominantly, and what I think would be really lovely about that is this, the neckline that it has. It's almost like a cowl cum funnel neck that sort of wraps over. Very unusual, but that would sit really well in this fabric. Yeah, and the shape of that dress and top, ideal for the sweat knit. But I must admit, the skirt would also work really well, and even the trousers I think could work really well. But yeah, I do think that the dress and the top especially on that would be lovely. Next up, we've got the Tilling the Buttons Pearl Wrap Cardigan. Another pattern that's absolutely fabulous for sweating it. It definitely makes it a slightly more wintry cardigan, something you can layer up with. And you've got short sleeve, long sleeve, or a balloon sleeve option in that pattern as well. So lots of choices there. Sticking with the cardigan theme, we've got the Esme Maxi Cardigan from Named Patterns. And this is a boxy fit, quite simple, but long line, full length cardigan, which I love the length on this, and I think it would show off one of these prints beautifully. I also love the pockets on this pattern. The way they're sort of like hidden within that seam line is really lovely. It's got a button band round. Yeah, absolutely brilliant cardigan pattern for the sweating it. Another cardigan pattern, so we've got the Elliot cardigan from Emporia Patterns, and this is again quite a boxy cardigan with patch pockets and a band around, but it's a much shorter cardigan. It's a unisex pattern as well, which is another reason why I included it, because I think that's great that it's unisex. It has a drop shoulder as well. Yes, it has that loose, casual, comfortable sort of vibe to it. Next up we have a skirt, and this is the Linear A-line skirt from Wardrobe by Me Patterns. It has 2 different views, which are 2 different lengths, and 3 different views rather, and it has different lengths. One of them has an extra frill around the bottom, and you can choose to put pockets in as well. And I thought this, with it being a 4-gourd skirt, I think the way that skirt hangs, with it just having a little bit of fullness, will really suit the sweating it, because it will make advantage of the drape of the fabric, and it's just going to give you a very kind of, I guess, wintry looking, cosy kind of skirt feel. So it's going to be very comfortable to wear, but in a beautiful print like this, it's just going to be a little bit more elevated. Next we have Simplicity 8738, and this is a really lovely sweater pattern that actually has 5 different views included. So we have one that has a really quite a chunky like roll funnel neck on there. That has 2 different length options. We have one that has a tie detail on the sleeve. We have tie details at the waist on one option that's like a cropped length, and then we have one that has another type of sleeve as well. So all of them are, yeah, every option on that pattern will be fabulous for the sweater knit. So you can go quite plain or include some of these, you know, fancy details as well if you want to. Next up we've got New Look 6683, and this is a jumper dress. So when I think of dresses in this sort of fabric, this is instantly where my mind goes. And you've 2 different options on this pattern, both that will be fabulous for the sweater knits. The main difference is one has a funnel neck or one has a cowl neck. You've got the option for patch pockets. Lovely sleeves on this one as well. Yeah, that would just make the perfect autumn winter dress in sweater knit, I think. Next up, sticking with the dresses, we've got the Billy, well, it's a dress or a sweatshirt, this pattern actually, from Tilly and the Buttons. And this is a super popular pattern here at Minerva. We actually made some kits up in this in our French terry loopback fabric, which is a wonderful fabric for this pattern, but also you can use the sweater knit as well. And it's just going to give a slightly softer kind of look, you know, it'll hang and drape a little bit more. Yeah, really lovely, and you've got the option for like a regular sleeve or a balloon sleeve on there, and like I say, you can make it as a sweater top or a dress as well. Next we've got Simplicity 9373, really lovely cardigan pattern this one. You've got 4 different options on it, all different types of sleeves, different lengths, you've got patch pocket options. I think whatever style of cardigan you're looking for, you're going to get close on this pattern, because there's so many options, from something quite simple and like a, you know, oversized boyfriend kind of cardigan style. Then, you know, you've got through to more fancy sleeves, different lengths. Yeah, really good pattern, that one. Next up we've got, this is actually a pattern I've actually sewn in the sweater knit, and it's Butterick 6136. And it's a really lovely top pattern, this one. I'm somebody that does, you know, I generally like quite a fitted silhouette, and then, you know, at the waist, and then to come out at the hips, and that's exactly what this pattern does. It has a lot of, you know, it kind of comes in at the waist, and then it has a lot of fullness that comes out towards the hip area. I think it's just a very flattering kind of look, you know. It's very comfortable, I think, to wear, certainly for me anyway. And you've different options on the pattern, slightly different necklines, but yeah, really, really lovely one. And like I say, I've actually made it myself in sweater knit, that fabric, that pattern, and it works really, really well. Next up we've got another cardigan pattern. This is Simplicity 1108, and this one is almost like a robe come cardigan. As they're very oversized, quite wide, big floaty sleeves, but you've different options on there, so 4 different views. All different lengths. Again, I've actually made view C in that one, again in the sweater knit fabric. It works so well. Yeah, brilliant pattern for the sweater knit, that one. Next we've got the Frankie top and dress from Tessuti Patterns, and yeah, this is a really simple top or dress with like a boat neck kind of neckline. Yeah, very simple dress or top, would be fabulous in the sweater knit. Next we've got the Anderson knit dress from Style Art Patterns, and this has a slight sort of cocoon kind of shape to it. It's got raglan sleeves, a very interesting shoulder dart, and yeah, it's got side inseam pockets which are fantastic, and it's also finished with a rib cuff and a hemband as well, so and rib on the neckband as well. So if you like the idea, I think that gives it definitely a more casual vibe, but yeah, it would be like wearing secret pyjamas with that dress. Next we've got the sheer knit dress from Style Art Patterns, and you've got a longer or a shorter sleeve option on this one. It's a beautiful neckline on this, which again the softness of the sweater knit would suit really, really well. Then we have the Nina cardigan from Style Art Patterns. So this has this fabulous drape in front, which the model shows there with either a belt round or just wearing loose. And again, the softness of that sweater knit would really suit that pattern. Then next we have the Venice knit dress, again from Style Art Patterns. This is definitely a full-on cocoon dress. Fabulous pockets in there. It has some interesting seam lines that go on like diagonals across the dress. Very simple other than that, but if you love a cocoon style dress that's super comfortable to wear, then that's a really lovely option. Next we have this is the Tallulah knit dress, again from Style Art. So this one's a little bit different in that it's very, very plain, apart from when you're getting towards the hemline, it has some like little gathering details at either side on the skirt panels. Just adds a little bit of extra detail, something a little bit different. And again, I think the softness of the sweater knit would really suit those draping parts on that pattern. Next up we have the Zara knit tunic. So this is a lovely like tunic length sweatshirt style top from Style Art Patterns. Yeah, it's got a lovely kind of curved band detail around the bottom, lovely shape sleeve, quite an interesting sleeve shape there. Again, lovely in the sweater knit. Next one is a absolute favourite in the Minerva sewing community. It's the Marlowe sweater from True Bias Patterns. So this is a cropped or a slightly longer length oversized cardigan. It's got a drop shoulder, deep v-neck, it's got wide bands that are perfect for putting large chunky buttons on there, and you can put patch pockets on the longer version as well. So yeah, that's absolutely made to be made in a sweater knit, that one. Then we have the Coral cardigan, another Style Art pattern, and this is just a really quite interesting cardigan pattern. It has quite unusual detail around the band that works around the cardigan, because that stops on line with the seam where the pockets are added, so it just adds a nice interesting detail, but quite plain other than that. Very, very wearable kind of cardigan. And then I also wanted to mention our Minerva Exclusive patterns that are absolutely perfect for the sweater knit. So we have the brand new Iris cardigan that only just came out recently, and that's a fabulous cardigan pattern that's just great as a layering piece. It is so quick and easy to make, and I think it's the perfect pattern for showcasing a gorgeous print in this sort of fabric that you can just layer over lots of different outfits. Yeah, when we designed that pattern, we very much had sweater knit in mind for it. And the other one, of course, is the one I'm wearing today, which is the Savannah dress, Minerva Exclusive Patterns. So this is a lovely sort of round neck cocoon bubble shaped dress. So it's a slight cocoon, has fabulous pockets in it which are just brilliant, and yeah, it's just very, very comfortable to wear. I've got a few of these now, and they're basically my autumn and winter wardrobe all the time, really, in different prints. So yeah, hopefully those pattern suggestions have given you lots of food for thought and giving you lots of inspiration on what you can make with sweater knit. It's a really versatile fabric when you get into it, and yeah, a joy to work with. Now, I will be honest with sweater knit fabrics, it can have a tendency to snag. With any sweater knit fabric, because it's a looser knit, you know, the stitches that are actually knitted together to create it are loosely done. You know, that's how you get this wonderful texture and characteristics. But that does mean, because they're looser, they can snag a little bit. Now, you know, if that's not for you, you know, obviously I've pre-warned you about the fabric now, that can happen. If it does happen and it's in a, you know, a spot that's a little bit unfortunate, we do actually sell a really, really cheap, affordable tool here at Minerva that's called a snag repair tool. Now this is a really good tool, a little gadget to have in your sewing kit for any sort of fabric really, not just sweater knits. And basically what you can do, if you have a snag on any fabric, you know, like a little pull, you can basically just thread this tool in from the back, you hook the bit of thread that's snagged, and then you literally just pull it through to the back and you can't see it anymore. It's a fantastic tool. Like, you know, it's so inexpensive, and just to even having like your repair kit at home, you know, even on ready to wear clothes, if you you know, if you snag anything and you've got a loose thread hanging off, this will fix it for you, and it just brings the thread to the back of the garment instead. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that about the sweater knit, because you know, with all the sweater knits we sell at Minerva, not just the Minerva Exclusive one, you know, they can have that tendency. It's just the nature of the fabric. You know, it is absolutely amazing quality fabric. It's a joy to sew with, a joy to wear. Yeah, and I think that's actually worth mentioning as well. As far as knit fabrics go, this is actually a really easy one to sew and handle. You know, even though it's drapey, it's I would put it almost as easy to work with as Pontoroma. Maybe not quite, but it's getting there. So if you're new to sewing with knits, this could be a really good place to start. And if you have Maraflex thread in your sewing kit, or you know, we sell it here at Minerva, that's a really good thread to sew it with as well, because that's a stretch thread that will just stretch with your fabric. So you don't even need to use, you know, a zigzag stitch or an overlocker. You can just sew it with an ordinary straight stitch, and in that Maraflex thread, it's absolutely brilliant stuff. So that's everything I wanted to mention today. Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, I really hope you found that inspiring. You've enjoyed looking at the new designs and, you know, all those pattern picks. Do let me know in the comments which were your favourite. I'd love to hear from you. And, you know, what are you planning to make in these gorgeous fabrics? I'd love to hear your ideas too. So thank you very much for watching today. As always, I'll tag everything I've mentioned below this video, so you can find that all on our website. Just click on those links or those tagged products, and that'll take you straight to the product pages on Minerva. So thank you very much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and I'll be back again soon with another video filled with fabric and sewing goodness.